Everybody, welcome back to Katie's Corner, where I make delicious fancy foods for pennies on the dollar. Today we're making pasta dough. So I've got my flour, I'm using all-purpose. I've got eggs, whatever kind of eggs you got. I've got my olive oil, which is about a tablespoon. And I've got I'm using sea salt. We're going to use about a half a teaspoon. 2 cups of flour. I've got a fork to kind of whisk my stuff together, and a knife. This bowl is for one of the egg whites, so that you're not wasting anything. Because, of course, if you waste, you want more. So the saying is, waste not, want not. Alright, so we're going to put everything together. Got 2 cups of flour. I'm just going to make it right here. I'm going to use 3 eggs. Let's make a little well first, because gonna put your eggs in there. This last one, we're just going to use the yolk. So the easiest way to do this is to just let gravity do the work for you. If you get a little bit of egg white in there, it's perfectly fine. Alex is going to use this later to make something delicious. We hope. Then we're going to put our tablespoon of olive oil and our half teaspoon of salt. If you're using like kosher salt, it's about the same. There's all different kinds of salts. Basically, the finer it is, the more you have to use. I'm just gonna put that right on top because we're doing it on our board. We're just gonna start mixing that all together. This part is super messy. If you made a boo-boo like I did and didn't make the well big enough, it's totally fine. Just here, at this point. Fun fact, the reason I wanted to become a chef above anything else is because I like playing with my food. And the gooier the better sometimes. Once you get it to like this consistency, you want to knead it. Sometimes you might need a splash of water, just depending on really how it comes together. You're really going by feel more than anything, making dough like this. But your kneading process is probably going to take about 8 to 10 minutes. This is a trust the process kind of thing, because right now it looks terrible. If you're mad about anything, this is a great time to get out your aggression. But see, like I said, it all comes together. If it's a little too dry, you want to put a little water. If it gets a little too wet, just add a little bit more flour. It's, like I said, it's all about the feel. When it does become done, you'll know because it'll feel like this part of your finger, the like the knuckle in between your thumb and your first finger. You want it to be elastic enough to be able to be rolled out, but held together enough to to form the pasta. My brain kind of left me for a second. See, it's already starting to become pretty elastic. See how it's changed texture and color to really come together. The reason why homemade pasta costs so much in restaurants is because of the sweat equity, which meaning the labor of physically making the dough. Because if you're doing this by hand, now in like a regular kitchen, you would have like a big mixer you mix this in, like we had at Mercado. But I'm just trying to show you that you can do all of the big fancy things without the big fancy price tag. Now, I do have a couple of things that Alex was gracious enough to buy for us to make it a little easier, but you can 100% use that knife right there and a rolling pin. But see the texture, how it's pliable and workable, and that's what you're looking for. So we're just about done here. Check our, it's not quite there yet. We're getting close though. Could have also done this in a food processor. That takes most of the kneading time out because it can like whip it around and whip it together pretty quickly, so that you're just looking for like the smooth texture. But again, everyone needs to know how to do this just in case crazy things happen and you have no power or no fancy equipment, things like that. All right. About right? Alright. So, next what I'm going to do is kind of get all this extra stuff off to the side. The key to easy cleanup at the end. Just cleaning up as you go. Okay. So it's not the cutest ball of dough I've ever made, but so this right here, I'm just gonna cut it into like I think this is 8 pieces. So it's like, it's probably about 4 to 6 servings, I would imagine, because serving size, once it's cooked, will generally fit in the palm of your hand. Alright, now that we've done that, we're gonna come over here. This is the stuff that Alex bought for us. Thank you, Alex. He's behind the camera right now. But we have our Sala Novo pasta maker. It's probably about 25-ish. It has like 9 settings. You want to start at the biggest and go to the smallest. It also came with this fettuccine and spaghetti attachment that will also fit on here later to roll everything out. He also got us a pasta drying tree, probably about $15-ish. This is gonna make it when I roll out everything. This is where you dry it. You want the texture of your pasta when you cook it to be almost like a leather, because if not, you're gonna have a big glob. Trust. Let it sit for like 30 minutes at least. I would go an hour, maybe 2, but definitely at the very least 30 minutes. Alright, so we're gonna start on number 1. Gonna kind of be our own little flattener right quick. Just gonna put it through. Ooh, there we go. Haven't used one of these in a while. And as you can see, it's a little crazy looking right now. So you're gonna just do it again. A couple of times until you get everything the same width, length, and a pretty okay texture to start rolling. Hold on. This happens from time to time. Just gonna put a splash of flour on the top and try it again. That's what I was talking about. It could be a little wet. So, whoop. So now that we've gotten it really almost done, you really have to, this is a labor of love, so you really have to like, you just got to do it for multiple times. It's really going to take just repetition, and I'm severely out of practice. But when you're done, what you're looking for is almost to be able to see this part right here. You want to almost be able to see through it when you look at the light. And it's going to get really hard to handle after this, I think. Yeah, that is our last one. Cool. All right. So I'm going to cut it into like 3 inches approximately. So like it'd be basically the size of my hand. Basically just the size of a noodle. Does not have to be perfect. These are homemade. That means that they're artisan. That means that you can make it look however your heart desires. I'm gonna measure them together basically, so I'm gonna just lay that next one on top, but in order to do that, because they're wet right now, and our gluten is very glutinous, definitely gonna want to put some flour in between there, otherwise you're gonna be cutting your, oop, hold on. Just gonna set this right here. You're gonna be cutting your fettuccine or your angel hair or whatever, and you're gonna have like 7 of them in one, and it's not gonna go through. Learned that from personal experience. I was like, Hannah, why is this not working? And she said, did you put flour in between them? I said, nobody told me that. She goes, yeah, you definitely want flour. Alright, so I'm just basically painting them with flour right now so that they don't stick going through the fettuccine side. Alright. And you'll see why in just a second. Alright, so this is our little notches right here. Just gonna stick that right in there. Our little handle is gonna come right here, and just gonna cut it right like that. Gonna do the same thing again. I'm pretty sure it goes this way. There we go. There we go. We got our fettuccine. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's why if you're left-handed, you do left-handed things. Alright. Last one. Obviously, when you're doing this for the whole batch, you want to make the whole thing. And then we're going to use our pasta tree after we've coated them with our flour. These are going to dry for like 2 hours. We didn't necessarily need our pasta roller this time, but if you were making ravioli, definitely need that. Invaluable time saver. Probably should have done this one at a time, but you know. Alright. Alright guys, I've got my pasta tree all filled up. Now the cooking time on this is a lot shorter than regular pasta. Once it's dried to that leather texture that I was talking about, probably take about 30 minutes to an hour on the drying tree. And then when you get your water to a rolling boil, rolling meaning the boil is all the way through the water, you're gonna take a big old handful of salt, like probably like this, throw it in there, let it come back to a boil. That's gonna season your pasta. If you're making the carbonara like the blog here in a couple minutes that I'm gonna post, you're gonna need that salty, starchy water for your sauce to come together. I'll talk about that more in depth in a blog. But once you get it here, you're gonna leave it here for about an hour. Then you're only gonna cook it for like 3, maybe 5 minutes, and you're gonna want it al dente. Al dente meaning it's kind of still got a bite to it, so that you can finish cooking it in your pasta sauce. If you're not gonna use all of your dough, like we didn't use here, I'm gonna freeze this. It'll freeze for, you want it to be all the way like covered, like sealed properly, and you can cut a piece off and let it thaw and use it probably for like a year. I think that's all of the information that I have for you right now. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it down in the comments. I'm going to link all of this stuff that we got down in the comments so that you can take a look. You don't necessarily have to get this one. All of these attachments that you can buy individually, they're universal to the pasta makers. But you guys have a great week. Stay blessed, and I gotta think up another one for next week. Have a great one. Bye.